About 9 days ago, one of my lady customers, she has melodeon lessons with me, got in touch and said it would be really great if you could learn the pipe and tabor and do a video or some videos on it. And when I got that email, my immediate reaction was to laugh, because I never played anything that I have to blow before, apart from recorder at school. I hated it so much I used to make it squeak on purpose so that I wouldn't have to play it anymore. And since that time I really haven't ever played anything that I have to blow. I'm more of a guitarist than anything, and the melodeon came quite a lot later. Anyway, you know me, I'm always up for a challenge, so I thought about it, and the outlay for the instruments wasn't too terrible, so I thought, oh, what the heck, let's give it a go. So anyway, I bought a tabor pipe, one of these things, and the drum, which is the tabor. These instruments date back to the 1400s, so getting on for 600 years ago. They were the instruments of choice for making music, and specifically for Morris dancing, so this is probably the oldest Morris instruments you can find. So what have we got here? Well, let's have a look at the tabor pipe, the pipe itself. It looks a bit like a recorder, this one. This is a plastic one, it comes from America, and it's made by the company called Susato, I hope I'm saying that right. And it consists of, as I say, a plastic pipe. It's got a joint here you can undo. I'm not sure if you can tune it, I don't think you can. You have two holes on the top and one underneath for your thumb, so you've only got three holes. This rest kind of slides up and down. I have it right down the bottom because I find it's easier, and I'll show you why. The idea of this is that you play one-handed, so the other hand is free to play the drum. I'll talk about the drum in a moment. So basically what you do is you put your little finger underneath the pipe, and I put it up against that rest. I don't know if you can see that there, like that. And then the third finger goes on top, okay, like that, and the thumb goes under the thumb hole, and that is your sort of holding position. And then obviously you can put fingers 1 and 2 down, and it's played a bit like a tin whistle with flat fingers. This is very early days, there's going to be a few horrible noises in this, and basically that's how you hold it, and then you blow, of course. So here are the 4 lowest notes that I can get. And you think, well, that's not too bad, and you sort of start congratulating yourself, and then you read in the book those 4 notes are not used much. Great, so then you find out you have to blow harder to get the next octave. So then you put 2 fingers and a thumb down again and blow a bit harder. Can you hear that? See, there's the D. And you hear the A breaking in, that's the 5th, and there's the octave D, and you can get even higher ones, and then you get the same things with different fingerings. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? So that's the pipe. Let's have a look at the tabor. This is, I got this on eBay, and it's quite nice. I quite like it. It's got, I think, goat skin heads. So sorry, all you animal lovers. I'm with you. I wouldn't have chosen that by choice, but there we are. And it has this piece of hemp which acts as a snare, and if you play drums you'll probably know, if you've got a snare drum, the snare is underneath the drum, and you play the side that doesn't have the snare. But with this kind of drum you play the side that's got the snare, which is, like I said, this piece of, well, it's basically string, isn't it? And it rattles against the side of the head as you play it. So traditionally, I think people play the pipe with the left hand and the drum with the right hand, but I'm very right-sided, very right-handed. I found it easier to play the pipe with my right hand and the drum with the left. And you may notice this rather weird setup I've got here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a guitar strap which I've kind of hooked. I mean, basically the idea is you put it over your forearm, but I haven't got very strong arms, and I found that really, really uncomfortable. And you're supposed to hook the drum over the arm of the hand that you use to play the pipe. I found that really, really hard. I've used a leather guitar strap, and I've used the strap on the drum, and I've used a cable tie to sort of hook those three things together, like the two ends of the strap and the strap of the drum together there. And then I found that had the drum going that way, which a lot of people play with the drum just, you know, the two heads like this. But I wanted it angled. I noticed it's more comfortable if the head is angled. So I used this other strap here. And you can see this kind of black strap, hooked it there, and I hooked it there. And it, as we say in our house, it's pretty Heath Robinson. If you don't know what that means, look it up. But it's sort of a bit lashed together. It's actually really comfortable, and I can stand and play. It's not a heavy drum. I know a lot of people who play the pipe and tabor have a big drum, like a big drum, which is obviously pretty heavy. I'm a bit weak, so I'm quite happy with this lightweight drum. So I can play the drum with this nice angle, and I can play the pipe with the other hand. The tune I'm going to show you is something I wrote many years ago for my guitarist in school to learn. It's called The Medieval Christmas, and it's got that kind of sound to it, I think. It doesn't use many notes. I've got a couple of bits of paper to show you, and I'll put these on my website in case you want to download them. Basically, here's the music, which shows the notes. By the way, the tabor pipe sounds 2 octaves above this. It's very, very high pitched. So here are the notes on the pipe, and then the rhythm of the drum is underneath like that. And it's in D major because this is a D pipe. So basically the octave, the usable octave, is in it's a scale of D major. It's a diatonic instrument, so you only get notes in the key of D major. You can get other ones doing half holing, but that's another world of pain which I haven't got into yet. And also came up with some tablature. Now the conventional tab for the tabor pipe, to my eyes, looks upside down. So I've done my usual thing, and in my arrogance I've come up with my own version of it. So over here it says finger, second, first, thumb. So basically your first note is F sharp, and that's achieved by putting your thumb over the thumb hole and leaving the first and second fingers open. So basically, if the little dot is filled in, that means your fingers covering the hole, and if it isn't, you're not. And on my tabor pipe, the thumb hole is smaller, so you can see these are all thumb holes here. And just read across the page. And I put these A's here in italics because you have to blow harder. If you sort of blow gently, you get the D. Well, actually, if you blow very gently, you get the low D. If you blow a bit harder, you get the D an octave above that. Harder still will give you this A's. It's kind of like the A's being blown a bit hard. That's how I've expressed it in italics. I just read along the lines, and I think it works fairly well. I mean, if it doesn't, I'm sure you'll let me know. I know a lot of people just use the standard tabor tab where you have the thumb at the top, but I found it pretty confusing. This way, as I'm looking at my tab, I'm looking down my pipe, so I find it better. And this is only for fun. I'm not pretending to teach this to you. It's just this is purely out of fun. Right. So let's just play the tune to you, and it's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. It's actually got the first 5 notes of the scale of D major. It starts on F sharp, which is just the thumb covered. See how I've got the pipe held between the little finger and the third finger, not touching any holes. Thumb underneath, and there's your first note, F sharp. And I put my first finger over the hole that it's designated to cover, and that's the second note, E. Back to the F sharp. And then G, you'll see from my tablature, is all open. So it's just hold the pipe and play. And that's G. And then the A, this is the one that's the same as the D, but if you blow, you get the A, blow a bit harder. So I'm covering all 3 holes. Now if I blow really gently, I get the low D, which like I said you don't use. Blow a bit harder, get the octave D, that's the lowest usable note apparently, and then can you hear that? There's the A kind of coming through sort of. So my first line of music sounds like this. like that. Now the second line of music we have E, which we played in the first line, which is thumb and first finger, second finger open, not covered if you like. And hear the low note leaking through, that's obviously bad. And then you go to the D, which is the same as the A but don't blow as hard. Back to the E, back to the F sharp, back to the G. Third line is the same as the first line. This is pretty painful. If you're a taborist, please, tabor player, please bear with me, I know this is horrendous. So third line, same as first. And the last line is the F sharp, 2 E's, and the D. Let's put that together for you. So that wasn't terrible. There are a couple of wrong notes leaking through as I was either blowing too hard or not blowing hard enough. It's all in the blowing. You know, basically, you're supposed to be able to, I think, get 5 notes from each finger position, which is pretty crazy, and it does go very high. In fact, so high I've actually ordered another one, a Tony Dixon Tabor pipe in G, alto, which is lower than this, which shouldn't be so painful to my ears, I must admit. If my poor old dog Jack was still alive, and if in case you don't know, and we had to have him put to sleep a few weeks ago, I think he'd probably been going crazy with this, because when it goes up really high, it's so high pitched. Now we're going to try and put the drum part to it, and the drum part is very easy. I'm literally going like that, that's it. Or I'm going. Basically, you could just go. I've done it in 2/4, so 2 beats, or you could go. Or you could go. Well, it's academic at the moment because it's probably going to be a disaster when I try and put the two things together. Basically, I think you've got to concentrate on the pipe, and hopefully the drum will come automatically. So let's see what happens. That's the first attempt. Not a great, a couple of dodgy notes. Basically, you've got to be quite percussive and quite explosive, and maybe change your mouth shape a little bit to get different notes. It's not so much blowing really hard, it's just the attack that you give it. So that's my first attempt. Pretty good, I know. I mean, the drum, it's not a wonderful sound, but it's kind of authentic, I guess. I can't imagine in the 1400s they had some wonderfully tuned kind of tom-tom sound. This is, it's pretty basic, but I imagine out in the open, I'm sure it's great. I've seen guys doing this, and ladies doing it when I've been out with my Morris side. And it looks really great. They often dress up in medieval clothes, and no, I'm not going to do that, I don't think. But it looks great, and it's such a piercing sound. Even though melodeons and other Morris instruments like concertinas are pretty loud, I can well imagine that this will get over the top of that volume-wise quite easily. In fact, they do. I've heard them. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops. I'm working on 1 or 2 other tunes which I'm not even close on yet. And when my Tony Dixon traditional alto Tabor pipe, bit of a mouthful, in the key of G comes, I'll show you that, and hopefully be able to play some sort of Morris things, which will be slightly lower pitched. I mean, this is good for playing in D, obviously, and in E minor, and I think the G one obviously will be much better for Morris, because most of the stuff we play is in G. There we are, so that is the Pipe and Tabor vlog number 1. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do let me know. If you've got any tips and hints for me, I'm obviously very open to those, as long as they're polite, and you'll see me in my next vlog. Thank you for watching.